Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Tuesday, the 3rd of February. This is CTV News. Tonight, would South Korean submarines come with a major upgrade for Halifax? New Brunswick unveils a shopping list of options to control a growing debt. And a pinball touchdown. Mike Clemens kicks off Black History Month with a whirlwind visit to Halifax.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. We're getting a better idea tonight of potential benefits for our region as Canada shops for new submarines. The Germans and the South Koreans are leading the pack right now, and the latter might include a maintenance facility here in the Maritimes. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness has details.
Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, or TKMS, and South Korea's Hanwha Ocean have been shortlisted as potential suppliers. According to defense analyst Ken Hansen, as the home of Canada's East Coast Navy, some of those benefits from the Korean bid could be coming to Halifax.
They have submitted a letter of interest for the old Imperial Oil site, where they would build a submarine maintenance facility of some kind, or perhaps even assembly facility.
A statement from the Premier's office reads in part, maintaining Canada's next fleet of East Coast submarines will mean a substantial infrastructure investment and approximately 700 high-skilled jobs in the province for the next 30 years. On a recent tour of the Hanwha facility in Korea, Canada's Secretary of State for Defense Procurement confirmed any agreement will form a long-term partnership.
Because this has now evolved into a government-to-government situation. It's a big procurement. This is going to be a relationship with the winner for years, decades to come.
Like the French did with the nuclear sub Tourville in March, the Koreans will sail one of their attack subs to Canada this spring. This time, Vancouver will be the destination. Jonathan McGuinness, CTV News, Halifax.
New revelations today in the Jansen Baker double murder trial in Moncton. Turns out RCMP were conducting surveillance on several people in the Moncton area before and following the murders of Bernard and Rosemarie Saunier. A police operation resulted in multiple arrests 10 days before the killings, including Jesse Logue, an associate of the couple's son, who was involved in the drug trade. A number of people in that circle believed Silvio Saunier was a police informant. He's since died as well. The trial will continue tomorrow. Nova Scotia RCMP once again warning people about counterfeit bills making the rounds. This time it's phony 50s that have been used to purchase things in Colchester, East and West Hants, as well as Lunenburg counties. The bills are made from a very similar plastic to the real ones, so they feel the same, but they all have identical serial numbers. And the holograph image is a sticker. Anyone who comes across one is being urged to call it in. It is becoming apparent New Brunswick will have some tough choices to make in the days ahead. The province is facing a wall of red ink and is said to be considering highway tolls, cuts to the civil service, and higher fees. As CTV's Laura Brown tells us tonight, getting that deficit under control will not be easy or popular.
What are we looking at deficit-wise? How big is it?
We'll be having a review the Q3 update in a couple of weeks. We're still finalizing the number.
It was almost $835 million in November, and some have predicted it's now over $1 billion. It's high enough to have the province look at its options, ways to save money and make more. Like adding tolls on non-New Brunswick vehicles, increasing certain fees, reduce the civil service, sell or close some government assets like schools with fewer than 100 students, and secure money owed to the province like student loans. There are 12 options listed, but the minister wants to hear from New Brunswickers their thoughts on these ideas and if they have new ones.
And the realization is if we're already 850 million short and everybody's still suffering, we need to look at things differently. We need to find a way, and that's the whole point of the exercise. We have aspirations to do something differently. We just need to find a means.
And I would say one of the benefits New Brunswick has is that its economic situation isn't quite as challenging as some of the others.
This economist says most of the country is also struggling with an unforgiving economy. But in recent years, New Brunswick has wrestled its debt to GDP ratio from over 40% to a low of 25%. A critical move to survive times like these. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
That New Brunswick-based Canadian soldier who was killed in Latvia last week has come home to Canada. The remains of gunner Sebastian Halmedian were repatriated at CFB Trenton today. The young soldier had served less than 3 years in the armed forces and was on his first overseas deployment when he lost his life. He and his unit were based at CFB Gagetown, and last year they assisted with firefighting efforts in Newfoundland and Labrador. The Governor General among those offering condolences to his family. Community of Truro continues to mourn the untimely loss of a local woman who was struck and killed by a snowplow yesterday. She's being remembered as warm and friendly by everybody who knew her, and the community has certainly come together to support her grieving family. CTV's Callum Smith continues his coverage.
In the town of Truro, the cliche "everybody knows everybody" rings true. In this case, it was Tina Clyke, who everyone knew and adored.
She's a very nice lady.
Very nice.
You could never ask for a better person. She has a soul that's just, she'd do anything for anybody.
Since her death, more than $40,000 has been donated to her family.
We are overwhelmed by the community support that everybody has shown Tina and her family. Millbrook First Nations, downtown businesses, friends, family. Tina would not believe all the support that's going on right now for her.
At the local Sobeys, where she worked for over 2 decades, customers and co-workers only left with memories. Her place of work a stone's throw from where she was struck. The collision happened at about 6:30 Monday morning during the snow and windy conditions. Police say Clyke was walking through this parking lot when a private snowplow operator backed into her. She died in hospital, and police said it's not being investigated as criminal, rather a tragic accident. A statement from her employer says, quote, "Our entire team is devastated. Our focus is on supporting our teammates' family and the local store through this crisis."
I want the community to know that we appreciate all the support from everybody, her friends, her family, her work. We couldn't make it through this without the support that everybody has given us and the support and love that they've given to Tina.
Callum Smith, CTV News, Truro.
And a busy stretch for the Moncton Fire Department, responding to 2 serious fires just blocks apart within a 48-hour period. First fire broke out Sunday night on Robinson Street in a house split into multiple apartments. In all, there were 14 people displaced here. A neighbor agreed to take in one family of 9.
They were about to go to sleep, so they were just in their pajamas. They had bare feet on, like tank tops, shorts, and they came running out in the snow.
It's been a challenging 2 days for us. Fires are always challenging, but at this time of year, they're extra challenging. We have narrow streets and cold temperatures, and cold and water don't mix.
We told you about the second fire last night. In a similar structure on Lute Street, one person was taken to hospital with undetermined injuries. HRM has expanded eligibility and timelines to the municipality's secondary units incentive program. Under the changes, more than 1 secondary unit per property may be eligible for up to $13,000 to offset costs for water and wastewater. The units have to be completed by April of 2027. Nova Scotia is rolling out a long-promised plan to help first-time home buyers. CTV's Jesse Thomas has those details.
Home ownership has been slipping away. We hear that from 20, 30-year-olds, that home ownership is gone, and they really want that back. And this is an opportunity to bring that back to them.
The announcement was made at the downtown Halifax Credit Union. They'll administer the program that allows eligible buyers to purchase their first home with as little as 2% down. In Halifax and East Hants municipalities, the incentive applies to homes priced up to $570,000 and up to $500,000 everywhere else.
$570,000 in Halifax is tight. It is. There's no doubt about that. Outside of Halifax, it's really not. $500,000 will easily get a first-time home.
There are other conditions, like households can earn no more than $200,000 per year and hold a minimum credit rating score of 630.
Yeah, just
On
across
paper,
over there.
This Halifax realtor says the program could help renters stuck paying huge monthly costs.
This will hopefully allow people with that high rent just to save that 2%, and rather than pay rent, you know, build equity in their mortgage.
We see a huge need. We see more people than ever that are actually paying higher rent than what their actual mortgage payment could technically be.
Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Despite uncertain times, the region's largest airport continues to do a pretty brisk business. The airport says its passenger numbers were up 4% in 2025, serving more than 4.1 million travelers across all sectors. Interestingly, international travel was up more than 19%, bucking a national trend. Passenger volumes to and from the States were up 8.5% over 2024. Still, domestic travel remains the airport's largest sector. For the second year in a row, the Halifax St. Patrick's Day Parade has been canceled. An estimated 40% of the Halifax population has some kind of Irish connection, and this year would have been the 14th parade in honor of St. Patrick's Day. Turns out there wasn't enough interest or parade entries, though.
Less people wanting to participate, and you know, if the weather's going to be that cold, we have entrants that might not show up or cancel at the last minute, and we really needed a solid number in order to make this work, and we just weren't there.
Last year, the event was canceled because municipal permits did not arrive in time. UTEC is hoping new volunteers will step up and help organize the parade for next year. Okay, still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll examine a troubling new survey that suggests cannabis use among young women may be having the opposite effect of what they're actually looking for. Coming up next, though, a boot camp for candidates.
We're trying to find ways to increase people's understanding of what happens at City Hall.
We'll learn about a program designed to encourage and educate potential local politicians. That's coming up next. Stay with us, won't you? If you've considered running for elected office, this report is for you. Some municipalities are offering programs to encourage and educate anyone who might want to run. Here's CTV's Nick Moore.
Now we have to go back to the poll worker.
It is training day at Elections NB for returning officers and election clerks who will be working this May's local government vote.
They play a very significant role in the administration of the election.
Chief Electoral Officer Kim Poffenroth says her office has also been offering information to people who are thinking about putting their name on a ballot.
We have been receiving calls since well before Christmas. It's a little bit different than in a provincial election where you'll have political parties that will be out recruiting candidates, and they'll play a significant role in educating their potential candidates. But we take on a bigger role in that respect for local government elections. 3 communities are approaching the spring election under the control of an unelected provincial supervisor. Resignations left the local councils in Strait Shores, Sunbury York South, and Miramichi River Valley without quorum. The Local Governance Commission of New Brunswick has recommended that training be mandatory for municipal councillors on everything from fiscal management to decorum. The City of Fredericton will offer a voluntary Week in the Life of a Councillor training program for potential candidates beginning February 17th. Jennifer Lawson is a city clerk at Fredericton City Hall.
We're trying to find ways to increase people's understanding of what happens at City Hall, and also to give people an opportunity who were running to make sure that they made an informed decision as to what actually goes on here.
Dan Murphy is director of the Union of Municipalities of New Brunswick and says such training opportunities can only lead to a more informed candidate.
Helping folks understand what it is that it means to be a local government official, whether that's as a councillor or a mayor. It'll help folks decide whether it's the right step for them, whether they can commit to it, and to give them an appreciation for what the job is.
Election Day is May 11th. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
Thank you, Nick. Time for a quick break. When we return, it's your complete maritime weather forecast. Stay with us. Kaylin Mitchell will tell us what to expect as we ease toward the hump and the weekend. It is Tuesday night, third day of February today. I was kind of pleasantly surprised when I went outside and to go to work. The snow was kind of melting.
Yeah, I like these sort of like pretty fair weather February days because we know we can still get very, very cold this time of the year. So it was nice to have a little bit of a break from that. There are some colder temperatures in the forecast coming up later on this week. Tonight around the region, cloudy conditions for Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, some increasing cloudiness for New Brunswick. There's a low chance of some spotty flurries in the Maritimes and maybe a little bit of patchy freezing drizzle as well. There is a low pressure system that is off towards the west of us, and we do have some flurries and some areas of light snow in the forecast for tomorrow. So taking a look at our timeline for cloud cover and precipitation, there's the grays indicating the cloud cover most widespread in PEI and Nova Scotia, as well as parts of the north and east of New Brunswick. Now, start of the day for tomorrow, there's expected to be a band of light snow that'll make its way into the southwest of Nova Scotia, as well as around coastal areas of the southwest of New Brunswick. That band of light snow will then continue to make its way into the Annapolis Valley, up the South Shore towards the Halifax area as we move into and through Wednesday afternoon. And at that point in time, for this part of the Maritimes, which is basically the western half of Nova Scotia and along the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick, we can call periods of light snow that'll be ongoing into the evening. Now, as we move through Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, the snow and the flurries there are going to be exiting off towards the east. But there is a possibility that we could pick up some snow accumulations through the day tomorrow and into the evening and night that could amount to around 1 to 5 centimeters for some areas, maybe a little bit more in some of the higher terrain surrounding the Annapolis Valley. It'll be a lower chance of flurries tomorrow for both Prince Edward Island as well as New Brunswick. Winds in the forecast for Wednesday are expected to be out of the south in the afternoon for much of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island and sustained 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. A few gusts near 40 around the coastal area of the southwest of Nova Scotia. In New Brunswick, the wind's a little bit more variable in direction. Out of the south near the Bay of Fundy coastline, but the rest of the province with a very light northerly wind, mostly sustained between 5 and 10 kilometers per hour. Now, low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, parts of the south of New Brunswick, falling a few to several degrees below zero. Colder temperatures, though, expected for the northern half of New Brunswick, where many communities will have some lows between around -14 and -20. In the north of New Brunswick for tomorrow, the high temperatures between -1 and -6. And through central and southern areas of New Brunswick tomorrow, most of the high temperatures between -1 and -4. For Prince Edward Island on Wednesday, the high temperatures will be near -1. And for much of Nova Scotia tomorrow, the high temperatures between around -1 and +1. Near 0 for Sydney, near +1 for New Glasgow and Antigonish, 0 for Ecum-Secum. Amherst for tomorrow near 0, near 1 degree for Halifax and Dartmouth, 1 at Lunenburg, +1 for the Annapolis Valley, 0 at Digby, 1 at Liverpool and Shelburne, and 2 degrees for Yarmouth. Taking a look at the 7-day outlook for New Brunswick, temperatures get progressively colder as we head towards the end of this week. Still holding out a chance of snow on Saturday, but looking more and more likely like that might end up being flurries. And that is followed by a chance of flurries and colder temperatures for both Sunday and Monday, a mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday of next week. For Nova Scotia, the outlook coming up on Thursday, some further flurries expected, then a mix of sun and cloud on Friday. Colder temperatures Friday night into Saturday morning. Chance of snow on Saturday. Flurries and colder temperatures in the forecast for Sunday and Monday, followed by cloudy periods on Tuesday of next week. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast coming up on Thursday, some further flurries expected with a mix of sun and cloud on Friday. A chance of snow to start the weekend on Saturday, followed by flurries and colder temperatures for Sunday and Monday, and a mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday of next week. Bruce.
I have no surprises to look forward to.
That's right.
That's it. Okay, thank you, sir. We'll step aside for a moment, but stay with us. There is a whole lot more to come.
#1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
New study has revealed a concerning connection between cannabis use and mental health, especially for young women. As CTV's Emma Convey tells us tonight, while some use the substance to improve their mood, experts warn it can actually wind up doing the opposite.
McMaster University conducted a 10-year study to see if there was a correlation between teens' mental health and cannabis use. They found consumption was a factor, especially over time.
It's possible that cannabis potency that's increasing is kind of explaining why that relationship is getting stronger over time. But it's also possible that teens are kind of using cannabis to cope with their mental health problems.
Researcher Andre McDonald says they found 18% of teens reported using cannabis, and a significant amount use it to cope with stress, especially girls.
Those who use 40 or more times in the past year, 96% of them reported using cannabis to cope with their mental health problems.
I think a lot of people here are using it as a form of escape from the stress that university and, young adulthood, stuff like that brings.
But according to these experts, there is no evidence cannabis improves mental health.
The long-term daily or near daily use, which is often what we're seeing, it can also negatively impact the brain's dopamine system. And that gives people the feelings of pleasures and joy and things like that. So this can make young adults feel fatigued, low in mood, unmotivated.
The accessibility of it and number of consumption options makes it easier for teens to get it.
People I'm surrounded with, it's constantly in conversation, especially now that we're of age where we can buy it ourselves.
Over the last 10 to 15 years, the THC, the amounts of THC in cannabis has really increasingly grown. And now that cannabis use is legalized, we also see an increase in things like edibles.
Emma Convey, CTV News.
All right, time for one final break. Coming up, touching down in Halifax with a football legend. First, though, it's your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at Lunenburg, where it's currently just 0 degrees right now. Kaylin's wake-up weather is coming up next. Well, would you look at that? It's Wednesday morning now, which means we should kick it off with the wake-up weather.
Yeah, and there's a few communities where, for Wednesday morning, there might be some snow coming down and accumulating. It's mostly going to be around the southwest of Nova Scotia and the southwest of New Brunswick at the start of the day. Though some flurries and some areas of lighter snow are expected to become more widespread along the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and in much of the west of Nova Scotia as we move into and through the afternoon. There'll be a chance of flurries tomorrow for other parts of the Maritimes, and most of the high temperatures on Wednesday are going to range from a few degrees below to a few degrees above the freezing mark. Bruce.
Thank you, Kaylin. Well, Nova Scotia welcomed a football legend today. Michael Pinball Clemens came to the province to learn more about Black history and make a special donation. Here's Vanessa Wright.
Before today, Canadian-American icon Michael Pinball Clemens didn't have many ties to Nova Scotia.
It is a piece of our culture that is known but unknown. Right? We are familiar with it, but the details are often lost, and so with that's something that we hope to begin the journey today.
He, alongside members of his Pinball Foundation, chartered from Toronto to Halifax Tuesday, making stops at Pier 21, Canada's National Museum of Immigration, and later a tour of the historic Africville site.
It's something that we've always had a passion for. We've always wanted to come out and visit Africville and take that whole experience in.
The Pinball Foundation announcing a $250,000 donation. The proceeds will go to the Africville community and help students of Africville descendants attend a post-secondary school of their choosing.
The fact that they saw the Africville Museum and the Africville community as an important piece to invest in is so extraordinary. Their influence to bring other people here to hear the story as well and to see what's going on in Nova Scotia. We are just so thrilled. I could hardly sleep last night.
Life is not an I story, it's a we story, and that's really what we want to communicate today, is that we're really excited to be here.
A message they hope to leave with Nova Scotians until they meet again. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
Another reason why he's a legend right there. Okay, that's your broadcast for this Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. If you joined us late, ctvnewsatlantic.ca updates right around the clock, and it is your home for news. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us tonight. Have a good evening. And we sure hope to see you again tomorrow.